People say that it's really hard to get a job in Queenstown.
We saw like 12 or 15 cars. How are the Kiwi people in New Zealand?
Well,
We're gonna dive into everything from finding housing here, finding work, buying a 15-year-old car in the used car market here, to what kind of the cost of living is as far as food goes, and different activities to do in this area, which we've experienced through our 8+ months here. How has it been finding work here?
people say that it's really hard to get a job in Queenstown, that it's very competitive, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I got lucky. I only took 2 weeks to get a job. And then through the year, I saw many posts in Seek, and sometimes there's more opportunities, sometimes less.
I remember reading a while back that, oh my God, we're not gonna find housing in Queenstown. It's so hard, people living in tents. It's tough, but actually there's a ton of places being listed. We ended up living by the airport in Frankton, the 5 Mile area, and there's also Remarkables Park. And then now we find ourselves in Jack's Point. Thanks to Trini, we found both of our places through either going on What's Up for the first spot and then traded me for the second spot. And where else can you also look for housing?
Marketplace and WhatsApp group.
Facebook groups and our Facebook marketplace. Buying a car. So if you want to get out of this tourist hub here, you need a car. Well, that's it right there behind me. We are the new proud owners of a Mazda Demio 2007. And yeah, it's time to learn how to drive stick shift. Except for the first time, it's going to be on the complete opposite side of the road. And I would say in this like secondary car market, a lot of cars here from Japan, nothing's manufactured, they're all imports. There's a lot of older cars, especially if you're in the backpacker community, you're buying a lot of 10, 15-year-old cars.
Reliable,
Hondas.
mostly Japanese car.
If you get into the market, we paid about 5,000 Kiwi for it. So about 3 grand USD for a 15-year-old car, roughly. Everything works, no frills, but it'll get you around. How are the Kiwi people in New Zealand?
Well, trying not to stereotype. If you find a Kiwi, make a wish, because in this area it's very hard. At least for me, it was hard to find Kiwis because we're mostly foreigners living in Queenstown. So without trying to stereotype them, because we haven't met many, it seems like they're very reserved, but once you're more comfortable with them and you have more trust, they're more open and they make jokes, and they also have a very funny accent. Can you pass me a pen?
For me, having went and studied abroad in 2009 in London, having lived, working on a visa in Australia and Sydney in 2019 and 2021, overall I would say that as far as the food and drink goes, they're very similar. You get the Tim Tams here, you've got the coffee scene here, you've got the meat pies here. Maybe there's more Kiwi options for the fruit, but otherwise nothing crazily different for me, although I'm sure Kiwis would object.
There's something that nobody has, and it's cookie time.
Yes, cookie time.
And Kiwi Gold, or
And Kiwi
Gold
Gold
Kiwi, and
fruit.
Red Kiwi. There's
Yes.
a Red Kiwi.
Yes. And we also want to mention the Maori food, which we haven't experienced, which I've Googled, and is mostly a lot of fish-based food that you might expect from some of the Polynesian countries. And of course, everything else you might find from the USA, they've imported that stuff here as well. What is the favorite thing about living in Queenstown, New Zealand?
Security, because we live in the bubble of the bubble of the bubble. So New Zealand seems to be like a bubble, but there's some crime and some people break in the cars or the houses, whatever, mostly in the North Island. But Queenstown in general, it's still pretty safe. And we also live in this rural area, Jack's Point, that feels more like a bubble.
I also think it's absolutely beautiful. It looks like a painting outside here with the Remarkables view, as well as going over to the Lake Wakatipu, and the sheep, the cows, all those things are really cool because Trini grew up in the city. I grew up outside of New York City. So we both are kind of more urban people. So being out here in the rural area by all the pastures and stuff is pretty cool. And it's chill life. The thing you don't like about living in Queenstown?
Maybe it's too quiet. We could have changed that if we were living in town with all the rest of the 20-year-old people boozing and partying all the time.
Yep. So for me, I think that there's not anything crazy I don't like about Queenstown because I've been in New Zealand before and I kind of knew what to expect. I think if we were living here long term, I would get bored at sometimes. Maybe have less community and less access to things. Is it possible to save money here in Queenstown?
That depends on the type of lifestyle you want to live. If you want to go partying all the time and going out to bars, eat out, whatever, every single weekend, you won't save a penny because everything's expensive. Like in one night you can spend up to $200.
Yes, I think Queenstown's more expensive, like when I lived in Vail, Colorado, versus if you lived in maybe Christchurch or Wellington or Auckland. And what else?
And also, if you're single, you're going to spend more money for sure because rent is more expensive.
Yeah.
And you spend at the very least $300 to $350 per week on rent. When you're in a couple, you spend $200 to $250 a week. To give a number, you can actually save 1,000 to 1,600 Kiwi a month.
Favorite activity so far in this area in Queenstown? What would you say?
We wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, so we haven't done a ton of stuff here. I think most people who come here would go and do the skydiving, which I've done before back in Portugal, or to go do bungee jumping, with neither of us are interested. A lot of people go do skiing, which I couldn't do because of my knee, as well as we're gonna go hiking. I think that's the most we're gonna do here. It's a little more cost efficient. Are there affordable gyms here in Queenstown? So basically, I ended up looking at Remarkables Park and 5 Mile in Frankton. And we're off to the gym. So I'll take you guys along today to show you what the Queenstown Event Center here is like. I'll show you guys around quick, but the main things for me and the reason why this gym is so good is, one, there's no starting fee. There's also no key fee, and there's no departure fee. So basically, you kind of just rock up. You can pay what I did for the short one, which is just 2 weeks. Re-ups every 2 weeks, and you got to give them, I think it's like 2 weeks notice to break it basically. Overall, it comes up to like $60 US a month. And if you're living here in the Frankton area, it's really walkable, which is sweet. They have a pool, they've got workout classes, they've got a gym area. Highly recommend it. Do we plan on staying in Queenstown for the entire working holiday visa? The answer would be yes, we do. Why is that? So basically for us, we really like hiking. You could go to the North Island and experience different climates up there. But for us, we want to come here, base in the mountains, have a beautiful environment here, and get to know one spot more deeply. And it's also easier if you want to have job continuity. So Trini has been in 2 different jobs in her time here in Queenstown, in a motorhome rental company and now in a car rental company at the airport. And I think it's a lot easier to kind of do that. For us, coming to one spot, kind of doing one long-term lease, or we did 2 leases here, and having less moving parts made it easier. And I think it was really good for us. It might be good for you too. What's next for us? Well, you'll have to check out in the future videos and see, because honestly, we're not really sure. And I also think you'll like these videos here. The top video being our experience renting a Star RV motorhome and going up to Mount Cook, what that was like living in the motorhome, as well as driving the roads here in New Zealand. And the bottom videos here with the New Zealand playlist. Everything from going out to GLENORCHY on a day trip, to going to Milford Sound, the pros and the cons, whether you should do that trip, and whether it's overrated, or whether it be right for you. And you all know what to do for the next video. Do not forget to explore more, and I'll see you there.